Welcome back to another Album Book Club EP review. Today we are taking a look at Dark Days by Yard Act. This was suggested to us by Somoli of the Gamels. You guys ready to get started?
Hell yeah.
First track.
I feel like there's something happened that we're missing the context for. In Yorkshire or wherever this accent's from. I was so right. They're from West Yorkshire.
All right. That was track 1, Dark Days. What are we thinking?
Like a 7.5.
I'm going to give it the same thing.
You're not going to believe this. I'm going to give it the same thing.
I mean, I think it deserves one. It's like pretty fun. I think there are some points where it goes on a little bit too long, and I think it stretches some stuff a little bit weird. I think the accent can be a little bit hard to get into, but we talked a little bit during the song, and I do believe we were correct in saying that if you're gonna make music like this, the accent does like help.
Yeah, no, you took my main note, is that I think this went on maybe 15 seconds too long. Something in that range. But, no, for like the first half, I was all in on it. A lot of like instruments that pop up for a second and then go away. A lot of energy. Fun song.
Yeah, like I kind of said while we were listening, I think there's just some context in the actual lyrics that we're missing that seem to be very oriented in where they live or made this album or EP. And that, so like relating to the lyrics was a little hard, but I could understand what they were kind of going for in their message vaguely. And then, yeah, the music was just kind of like oompa music with like a little punk drive to it. It's very similar to whatever we ended up definitively calling the Aquabats, like that style of music, where I usually just call it like fun rock.
So there's a couple of Song of the Days I've done, I don't think at this point recently, but that are in this style.
Yeah, I think the drums here are like especially fun. Like that feels really fun rock to me.
Next track.
He started the song before I had my headphones on.
I had time to put my headphones on, lean over there, and click the button, and get back before you all had your headphones on.
Oh yeah,
I was shitting bricks.
What caused that?
I don't know. I was panicking.
This just sounds like British Jack White.
We're about to hear some weird drums and then kick back into it, though.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe not. We're getting pretty close to the end.
You're metagaming.
I'm allowed to hear. I was right. All right. That was track 2, Peanuts. What do we think?
I'm going to give that like 5.
I'm going to give it a 6.
Logan took mine, so I'm going to not copy anybody and give it a 5.5.
I think the structure of the song itself makes sense, right? There's no denying that. I think an EP is the worst spot for it to go. That is like smack dab in the middle of the concept album. And then the actual song itself is almost hard to palate, I think. It's like fighting itself, I feel, and the bass line and the drums almost. Like they're not going together, and that's what needs to be going together. And then... yeah, you've got a big chunk of vocal break, which is fine. It's storytelling. I get it, but concept it. And then the ending, just there's one line that gets repeated a lot.
I will say, minus the repeated line, the ending is pretty much exactly what I thought it was going to be. But yeah, I think the vocal break probably goes on for too long for the second track of an EP. The beginning, I think you said it best with the instruments not quite meshing. I thought it was missing something, but I think you're right.
Yeah, I agree. There were definitely some pieces of the song where it was kind of hard to listen to, but I think there's like a large chunk of context that I'm missing here. Like I almost felt the same way with the first song, where it's like I feel like there's something like really going on here, and there's a big piece of storytelling that I'm missing because I'm not familiar with what's going on over there.
And so I do feel if we were, West Yorkshire people, this would probably make a lot more sense. It just, I don't understand any of the references. Can't say I'm too into what happens in London these days, but Yeah, I don't think any of it's necessarily a negative. It's just I don't think I quite understand that song here, maybe. It feels a little more... I don't want to take Carl's thing and say music concrete because I don't think it's quite that far. But I would say almost more on like the jazzier side where things are kind of working and living in their own realm. And the last song was more that like that rock, that fun. Like it had a very dignified structure that we were all sticking to. And this is like... The vocals are kind of doing their own thing. The bass and drums are doing their own thing, and whatever else is going on in the track is just kind of the actual like lock in, stick to it point, which is weird. Usually it's vocals or drums and bass.
Well, I will say the drums at the end did get me. I thought the drums were really fun at the end.
Oh yeah, the last bit of the end of the song I think was a bigger step up than what we had before it, but it may have just been because we had a big vocal break and then about 10-15 seconds of it.
Except maybe lyrically.
Yeah, lyrically I think that was the worst section, but
Yeah.
musically probably the best.
Next track.
Next track.
Next track. The beats are very good. I like the drums.
This feels like a song that would play in like the music video is him walking down the street, like interrupting a bunch of people, like like he pulls them aside and sings the lyrics at them. That's what this song is.
All right. That was track 3, Fixer Upper. What are we thinking?
Give that one a 5 as well.
I'm gonna give it a 6.5.
I'm giving it a 7.
I think there's just nothing happening. I don't understand the lyrics too all that well. I mean, like I don't relate to them, and then with how thick the accent is and how little I listen to accents typically that thick, it's a little hard to decipher. And then the notes in the background were reminding me a lot of Ghostbusters, but not in a bad way. That's just something that distracted me personally. It just, nothing moved. It was a lot of like, it felt like playing a side scroller like Mario or something like that. Like things are moving, but they're not moving.
I didn't really feel like it went on too long because I liked the vocals going on. I didn't really understand them because there is a pretty thick accent going on, but I don't care. They still had a nice flow and drive to them. I just especially like the drums and the other different types of percussion instruments we get here. Keeps it pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar energy-wise to the first track. It just has less, I guess, weird going on, and I really did like the weird in the first song. This one is much more normal of a track, and, I mean, that's fine. It feels like it goes on a little too long. I don't think it actually does, but it feels like it a little bit. And, yeah, I think if I knew the context of the song, it'd probably be a little higher, but still got similar energy, similar feel. Probably could have switched up the synth part a little bit, but I think it's fine. Next track. Last track. All right. That was track 4, The Trapper's Pelts. What are we thinking?
I'm also going to give that one a 5.
I'm right there with you, Logan. I'm gonna give that one a 5.
I'm going to give it a 6.
I also wish I understood the track.
I think this is a self-contained story.
I just didn't really get it the whole time, and I feel like if I was to get more into it, that it'd be cool, but I didn't really understand what was going on. I don't really like the lyrics at the beginning. It was kind of juddery. I don't know. I just couldn't really get into it.
There was a weird effect on the vocals at the beginning, but I don't know. Thought this one was kind of just a not super serious, fun track. And it did some kind of cool things, and some things kind of stayed a little boring, like Logan was talking about the bass during the listening to it.
Yeah. The bass guitar, other than when they fully changed up the sections of the song, played one thing one line the entire time. Not even in like sections of 4 bars did they switch it up on the 4th bar like you should, and that's fine, I guess. But But my biggest problem is how close the bass guitar's drive in tone and the vocals were in tone. Those both need volume adjusted wildly, and bass needs to come down and vocals need to go up. If you're going to keep those tones, it's that or just put like another lower octave on the bass and just have it kick in its own sub. But just those two things kind of being in the exact same like length and or like the hertz range, I suppose, was just kind of shooting itself in the foot. And then when it did switch up, one time there was an off chord that was completely wrong, which led into another off chord for that section, which I guess made sense, but would it not have made more sense to use one of the available 3 minor chords or the diminished chord of that scale? I think so, because then you can use the off chord as that change section instead of off chord into chord in that key, if you're going to do the dissonance there. Because then they immediately brought it back in, so we're at 2 off keys back into the original key. That's just a certain choice to make. And then the spoken word stuff was back for like a tinge of a second, and that was weird because it really wasn't there last track. So it's here for half of this.
I'll say at least it's half, and you just show up that one time in what I would consider the wrong spot if they're only going to do it once. Album art?
Album art.
I'm going to give that a 7.
I want to give it an 8. I think I'm going to do that.
It is 6.5.
Connor just realized he had free will.
I say I have issues with it, but I think it's 2 points worth of issues.
I think it's pretty cool. I think it kind of like fits the punk album, kind of. I like it how it's kind of abstract, and then I especially like the little red words. I think those fit really well within like the red, white, black color scheme. I like how subtle they are.
See, I don't dislike them, but for an EP, okay, let me make sure. If this is the band's first EP, okay, hold on. I believe this might be the like deluxe bonus EP to an album.
Oh,
because the album is exactly what I was gonna tell them to do with this. I think.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
we missed out on the story of the album and just listened to the EP. That's kind of funny.
No, all right, that's fine then. I take it back. I'm still gonna give it an 8. I don't like the little texture in the top left corner though. That I can't see it over there on the computer screen. It's only on the phone. It's over by Act.
Weird. I didn't see that.
I don't love that, but I think for an EP, if this was just an EP, you take off the red words and just have it be that. But they already did that, so I take it back, I guess.
Yeah. I think I read this wrong, but that's because we're taught to read left to right, top to bottom. So this reads as act yard, which that instantly confuses me. And then also, I think this is one of the only times I've ever thought this needs to just be a picture of the band for the album art.
Yeah.
I think take away literally all of the words and just put a picture of this British band, and I'll get it.
I don't know. I read it as Yard Act.
I mean, if you're following the circle, it doesn't.
That's if you follow the circle, not if you follow reading rules.
No, I understand that.
Well, I just read the
I
ones
get
that
it,
are right
but-
side up first.
I'll say like yard is set up like a normal word, and then you keep following the circle over to act. I get what they're going for.
Oh, yeah.
It if you start thinking about it, I think it gets a little weird. But I didn't do that until you brought it up.
And then I also think Dark Days in that same foul swoop should be on the other side, on the bottom. If you're going to do it, it
Yeah.
should not be in the middle of yard and act, because that is what makes me start with act.
You're
Because
right,
then
yeah.
it's yard, Dark Days, act. But that isn't the problem on the regular album. And I did read that one as yard act because it made sense with the circle.
All right. If you made it this far, please make sure to hit all the little buttons down below. It really helps us out and shows that you keep liking this content. Are we doing anything next time special?
I have no idea.
Just ask for more EPs.
Yes.
Yeah, just send us more EPs.